So a little while ago, we reacted to this animation right here called The Copycats by Cirky. Now the cool thing about this animation was that it was made using Source Filmmaker, and it's an animation program that uses the same engine as Gary's mod. So this animation looked a lot like Gary's mod. You guys know what I mean? I just thought that was really cool, and it was about an original story about copycats. And I liked it so much that I decided to check out the most viewed video on this channel, and it's also a creepypasta animation, and this one's called The Strangest Security Tape I've Ever Seen, and check out that thumbnail. I'm getting goosebumps already. I don't know why these animations hit so hard. It's like back in the day when I was younger, I had a really crappy phone, and all I did all day, you guys have to remember, this is before any major like social media. I mean, you had Facebook, you had MySpace, but I wasn't using that, right? But what I was doing on my crappy flip phone that had a browser, I'd read creepypastas and SCP stories. Like, I'm serious. I'd be up in bed under my blanket until the late hours on my flip phone, literally reading SCPs and creepypastas. And the funniest part was they actually scared me. Like, for real, I'd be scared to come out from under the cover because I thought whatever I just read would be there. Like, I was old enough to know it wasn't real, but I still got creeped out. And I'm kind of starting to get that feeling back. Anyways, enough yapping. Let's get straight into the video. A video by Cirky. Narration by Mr. Creepypasta. Whoa, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
I work at a gas station in rural Pennsylvania.
Ooh, I like this.
It's a boring job, but it's pretty easy and it pays all right. A few weeks ago, this new guy started.
Guys, come on. It's a night shift story. You guys know how many night shift horror games we've played on this channel? It's probably close to like 100 at this point. And now we're reacting to a night shift creepypasta. It's like we went full circle. Anyways, one thing I really like already is how this narration sounds very casual. It's almost like I can imagine that the person narrating this is the person that this actually happened to. Y'all know what I mean?
I'll call him Jeremy.
Jeremy works here now.
Jeremy's weird. He's about 25 or 26. And
What's
he hardly
weird about
speaks, but he's got the creepiest laugh I've ever heard.
This is why you shouldn't work the night shift, y'all. He's 25, 26. Bro looks mid-30s. Nah, as a matter of fact, he looks like upper 30s, bro. This dude could be 37. He has gray in his hair. Y'all see that?
My boss and I have both noticed this, but it's never been a problem. There's not much that we can do about it. Customers have never complained about him, and he's always done his job fairly well.
So he has a creepy smile.
Until a few weeks ago. Anyway, see, that's when things started going missing. Employee theft can be a problem at any business that sells consumer goods, and there's only one person working at a time at this gas station.
Hey man, theft could happen in my business as well. Like sometimes I'd be recording, and then I go downstairs into the fridge, and I grab a little snack, and then I forget that I grabbed the snack because I'm working. And then later at night, I'm like, dang, I could go for something sweet right now. And I go to get my snack is gone, and I hate myself for it. All right, so stuff is going missing during the night shift, and the only person that could realistically be stealing this, assuming it's an employer, is Jeremy.
It's a pretty small place. About 2 weeks ago, my boss started noticing that we were short on motor oil. At first, it was a few containers at a time. Then, entire shelves, boxes from the back room. Pretty soon, entire shipments would be gone the day after we got them.
What?
And it would always be right after Jeremy's shifts. My boss has checked the security camera tapes from every single night that he worked, but he could never catch him in the act.
How?
Jeremy would lock up at closing, then the motor oil would be gone the next day.
How?
My boss usually takes the tapes home with him to try to catch Jeremy stealing. But his daughter had a softball game last night, so he asked me to watch the tapes for him.
Yo, you know how crazy that will make you? Imagine you're a manager or you're like an owner of a store, and like whole shipments go missing. And you know that the only person that could be doing it is the guy working there, or like he's working together with somebody. Anyways, he knows what's going on. And then you literally have security cameras and you cannot catch these shipments going missing. Wouldn't that make you go crazy? Like, what's going on here? On a real note, what is going on here? Let's name our theories. Whole shipments are going missing, and Jeremy has a weird smile. That's the only clues we have right now.
He offered to pay me overtime, under the table. So obviously, I took the offer. But there are 3 cameras, so he gave me 3 different tapes to check.
What if it's like the Ring situation? He just gave him 3 cursed tapes. Like there's something on that tape that you shouldn't be watching. That's why this is called the strangest security tape I've ever seen.
I figured it would be a long night, but I'm trying to save up for vacation, so I really needed the money.
Here's a nice
I
place.
took the tapes home, popped them in an old VCR, and sat back.
This must be a while back.
2 days ago, the last time he worked. Jeremy started at 4 p.m. Everything seemed pretty normal at first. He counted up his drawer, switched off with the girl who had worked before him, and waited for a customer. The first person who came in was Mrs. Templeton.
He knows her?
The timestamp on the video read 4:03. It was regular. So she picked up her cigarettes and a newspaper and paid with a 20.
Wait, I said this is the night shift, but... Or did they say it's the night shift? Because it says it's 4 p.m. right here. Or maybe he starts at 4 p.m. and then he works until like 4 a.m. That's also possible.
Nothing unusual here. Next customer was some local guy named Ron. He drives a motorcycle and usually comes in every few days. He filled up his tank, got a big bag of beef jerky, paid with his credit card, and left. Next was some guy with a cowboy hat. I'd never seen him before. We get plenty of strangers passing through. It's like any gas station.
So that's not suspicious?
He got $40 worth of diesel fuel, paid with a $100 bill, went on his way. I sat back and sighed. The only thing more boring than doing this job is watching someone else do it. My boss's offer was enough to keep me watching, though. So I left the tape on. Everything seemed pretty normal. I had a feeling that if Jeremy were stealing motor oil, he knew we were suspicious of him by now.
Ooh.
I didn't expect him to be dumb enough to let us catch him on camera. Things stayed boring and routine until about 5 o'clock. At 5:03, Mrs. Templeton came back in.
Why?
Must have forgot something, but she didn't. She bought the same pack of cigarettes as before. The same newspaper. She paid with another 20. That's odd, I thought, but then again, she's a little absent-minded. I thought Jeremy should have told her, since she already got her smokes, but it's not against the rules to sell somebody the same thing twice.
Wait. So, we just got another clue, I guess. Miss Templeton came back like an hour later and she bought the exact same things. If this wasn't important for the story, I don't think the narrator would have mentioned it. So what does that mean? Maybe Jeremy is like hypnotizing people and they're stealing the shipment for him? No. I think there's something way deeper. Something way deeper happening here.
And that's when Ron came in again. He bought another tank of gas for his motorcycle again. I later checked the outdoor camera because I thought maybe he had another car he wanted to fill up. And the same pack of beef jerky.
Okay.
He paid with his credit card again.
Buying the same things.
I figured this was just a weird coincidence. Mrs. Templeton is forgetful. Ron probably owns more than one Harley. And that's when the guy in the cowboy hat came back in.
Stranger.
I felt a chill run down my spine. Don't get Diesel. Don't get Diesel. I found myself whispering to my empty living room. But he did. He got $40 worth of diesel fuel, and he paid with another $100 bill.
Yo, guys, my goosebumps are goosing right now. What? Wait, editor, cut that out. Hold on, yo, guys, this should be a movie. So, these people are stuck in a loop. Because they're doing the same thing, and I guess every hour they're gonna keep coming back. Because look, it says right here that it's 6 p.m. and he started watching this at 4 p.m. And what I am also wondering is if his boss, because remember, his boss was the one that was watching all these security tapes before. I wonder if his boss was seeing the same thing.
Every move he made was identical to his first visit, right down to the way that he scratched his nose before he walked out. Either the guy is rich and he owns a lot of trucks and just moved into town, or something really bizarre was happening. I kept watching.
I think it's the latter.
Every customer for the next hour was the same as before. Every single one. I was seriously freaked out, and then at 6:03, Mrs. Templeton walked back in.
What?
She bought her cigarettes and newspaper again and paid with the 20 again. I thought I was going to lose it. I only watched another half hour before I started fast-forwarding through the rest.
At this point, I think my boss was messing with me, right?
It was all the same. Every customer would come in at the exact same time, exactly 1 hour apart. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay? That sneaky Jeremy had messed with the tapes.
Yeah.
He had run a loop of his first hour of business over and over. That wasn't the case. There are windows around the cash register area that the camera covers.
You can see the sunset.
I watched the sunlight fade as the time ran on. Jeremy's routine didn't loop over. He swept, mopped, restocked, and did all his duties exactly.
Wait, yeah, so Jeremy was doing different things. It was just the customers that kept doing the same things. What? Okay, guys. Holy crap, I love this story already.
How you would expect, but the same customers kept coming in. I was panicked at this point. Something was seriously wrong with what I was seeing, and I had no explanation for it. I skipped ahead, and when he locked up and walked out to his car, he hadn't stolen anything, but I kept watching, just to make sure. I fast-forwarded one last time to about midnight, and at exactly 12:03, out of nowhere, Jeremy's face popped up on camera. I don't mean he moved his head into view. I mean that 1 second the store was empty. The next second, his face was all I could see. He wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at me. I was sure of it. I screamed, and I fumbled for the remote, but by the time I grabbed it, he was gone. Just as soon as he had left. One frame he was there, next he wasn't.
Okay.
My hands were shaking like crazy, but I popped in another tape.
This person has obviously not seen The Ring. Those tapes are cursed. But now I'm really wondering if the same thing happened to his boss, right? Because he was watching these tapes too. Or is it just these specific tapes from that day that are cursed like this?
The other indoor camera shows the back area by the cash register, and I'd be able to see how he got up to put his face in the camera like that. I skipped ahead to 12:03, but there was nothing. I would have been able to see him standing on a chair or something on this tape, but he wasn't there. I didn't see him enter the store at all after he left. It's like he wasn't really there. He doesn't know the security code. There's no alarms that were triggered that night after he locked up. What I did see, however, was that at 12:03, the motor oil vanished off the shelf. All of it. Same as Jeremy's face. 1 second it was there, the next it wasn't.
All right, so imagine this happens to you. Do you still do your skincare routine at night? And do you still show up to work the next day? Honest question.
I turned the tape off and I went to bed.
Okay.
I didn't get a wink of sleep.
Exactly.
My body was exhausted right now, but my mind was racing. That tape was undoubtedly the creepiest, most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Roll credits.
I work in a few hours. My boss asked me to bring the tapes back in and let him know what I found. But really, what the hell am I going to say? Jeremy works the night shift tonight, directly after me. Plan is for my boss to come in just before I leave and confront him with me, and I'm supposed to be the one who caught him stealing. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I suppose I'll have to show my boss the tapes, but I don't want to watch them with him.
Did y'all hear that?
I never want to see anything like that again. I can't get the image of Jeremy just smiling directly into the camera out of my mind. It was the creepiest look I've ever seen on another human being's face. Anyway, I try again to get some last-minute sleep before I have to go in and deal with this. I'll let you guys know what happened. Update. 2:49 p.m. Updating from my phone, so apologies in advance for any errors, but my boss just finished watching the last of the tapes. I told him what to expect.
We already know what's gonna happen. The tapes are gonna be normal now. So his boss is gonna think he's crazy. Oh, I hate to see that happen.
You really can't prepare someone for something like that. I mean, he's scared, speechless. I still am too, and Jeremy is due to come in at 4.
Wait. So the boss saw the same tapes and they weren't different? Okay, so the boss knows that there's some freaky going on.
Scared, speechless. I still am too, and Jeremy is due to come in at 4.
That's good.
Got a little over an hour to get our stuff together, but neither of us knows what to say to him. Is he just like a messed up guy who likes to steal motor oil and scare the...
I'm so happy that the boss actually saw the same tapes, because that's kind of a trope or cliche that I hate in horror movies. Sometimes it's done really well, but a lot of times it feels super lazy. It's when one person sees something or like there's something paranormal going on and then they try to show somebody else, but then for some reason it doesn't happen or it seems unbelievable or whatever. When it's done right, it can be good, but most of the times it's done in a really lazy way. But I actually like how it's done here. He showed his boss the tapes, and the boss saw the same thing, and the boss is also terrified. So now they're in this together.
Messed up guy who likes to steal motor oil and scare the hell out of people? Or is he something else? I don't know if this is crazy, but does anyone think that he could have anything to do with the time loop? My boss says he never noticed anything like that in the other tapes. But the way that he popped up in this one made me think that he knew I would be watching, like he wanted me to see what he could do, like he was showing off or something. The way he smiled into the camera was like a little kid showing you a sandcastle they just built or something. I don't know.
Wait, he mentioned the time loop. But it wasn't really a time loop because the time was still going. But the people were in a loop. So what's going on there?
Probably sound crazy. I sure feel that part. I gotta talk to my boss some more. We have to calm ourselves down and figure out how to handle this. I'll update again tonight, but I have a really bad feeling about how this is going to play out.
Do you fire him?
Update. 4:33 p.m. There's no sign of Jeremy. I tried calling him, but his phone has been disconnected. We're calling the police. Update. 5:33 p.m.
What do you even tell the police?
No sign of Jeremy. Tried calling him, but his phone has been disconnected.
What?
We're calling the police. Update. 6:33 p.m. No sign of Jeremy. Tried calling him, but his phone has been disconnected.
What?
We're calling the police. Update. 7:33 p.m. No sign of Jeremy. Tried calling him, but his phone has been disconnected. We're calling the police.
What?
Update. 8:33
They're
p.m.
stuck in the loop.
No sign of Jeremy. Tried calling him, but his phone has been disconnected. We're calling the police. Update. 10:58 p.m. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just got home. I saw my previous updates. Things make less sense now than ever. Okay, here's what I can tell you. Okay, I went to work. Jeremy never showed up. My boss and I decided to call the police, as you're well aware. Okay, when I picked up the phone to call though, the sun went out.
What?
I'm not making that up. Okay, that's what I thought happened. Apparently, I blacked out for exactly 5 hours because when I looked at the clock, it was 9:33. I think I got stuck in Jeremy's time loop.
Where's his boss? Where'd his boss go, guys? Whoa. You guys remember how the stuff in the store would instantly like disappear? So that obviously has something to do with the time loop. Like this guy was stuck in a time loop. What we were seeing was him just repeating everything every hour, calling the police. But what he saw was just literally him instantly moving forward in time. So maybe that's also what happens to all the stuff that's going missing. It's like, it's not disappearing from its location, but it's like moving to a different time that we haven't reached yet. And that's probably the same thing that just happened to his boss, because his boss is going to be gone, isn't he?
And then I snapped out of it at the exact point I blacked out. If that makes any sense. But that's where things got really weird. Okay,
Oh,
my
his
boss
boss
was
is
right
here.
next to me when I blacked out, ready to corroborate my story to the cops. And when I came to, the phone was in my hand, but it was dead. Now,
I thought the boss would be gone, so forget what I just said.
in dial tone, corroborate my story to the cops. And when I came to, the phone was in my hand, but it was dead. Not even dial tone. My boss was still right there, but he wasn't moving. He was standing up, but he was frozen. And I looked at the clock, and it wasn't moving. The second hand was stuck on the 12. It was 9:33 exactly.
Time is frozen.
The clock on the counter, the computer screen wasn't moving either. My phone was frozen. There was even a customer at the register waiting for my boss to get him cigarettes, and that would have been his 5th pack of the day. So I got the hell out of there. I didn't lock up. I didn't turn the lights out, and I'm sorry, guys. I didn't grab the security tapes to upload to the internet. Believe me, that was the last thing that was on my mind.
What
The
happened
gas
next?
station is on a major highway, and cars are parked all along, except they weren't parked. Okay, they were frozen. The people inside were sitting still as wax statues. I got in my car, I prayed that it would start, and thankfully it did. And about halfway home, time started up again. The static from the radio turned into music, like it was supposed to be. And from what I could tell by listening to the host talk in between songs, no one noticed that the time was frozen or whatever had happened.
I would freak out so badly if this happened to me, guys. Like at that point, I'd be scared of Jeremy like showing up again in my life. But that's so weird. Imagine you're Jeremy. We don't know what he is, by the way, guys. We've seen Jeremy like twice, and we haven't, like, he's causing all this, and we don't know why or how. So we're just gonna assume he's some kind of entity, and he just decided to work the night shift at a gas station? That's like so random. Why would he do that?
I was the only one. I'm sure that Jeremy noticed as well. I have no idea where he is or what he's doing, and I'm hiding in my room. I'm calling the police again in the morning. I don't know if I ever got through them before, but if I did, whether they took me seriously or not,
What are you
I'm
gonna
scared
tell
for my
him?
life at this point. I'll update tomorrow if I can. Final
Uh-oh.
update, 10:33 a.m. So I finally fell asleep last night around 4. I have no idea how I did it. I guess exhaustion finally got the best of me. This morning I woke up to my phone ringing. It was my boss. He'd been calling me since about 6. He woke up when time turned back on last night and immediately called the cops. They came by to see what was wrong. He told them everything. The police around here are all small-time guys. They were more concerned with the missing motor oil than anything. My boss figured that he'd take it, as long.
Wait. So, from the boss's POV, seeing as when the protagonist, the narrator, when he got out of the time loop and went home, time was still frozen. So, in the boss's POV, once time started moving again, the narrator, like, poof, disappeared. So that's probably what's happening with all the motor oil.
Concerned with the missing motor oil than anything. My boss figured that he'd take it, as long as he had their attention. They decided to go look for Jeremy. So we keep all our employee applications on file. And since Jeremy just started working here, his was easy to find. They checked the address on it and they headed over to his house.
And then?
And you're not going to believe what they found. The address Jeremy listed on his application was an empty lot. Or at least it is now. And there used to be a house there, but it burned down back in 1993.
Okay.
Being a small town, almost everyone remembers that fire. A family of 4 used to live there way back when. Rumor has it that they had an estranged son who they never really talked about. But
Jeremy?
can't say for sure if that's true. What I can say is true is that after an insurance investigation, the fire was ruled as arson. The entire house was soaked in oil and torched with a Molotov cocktail. The entire family was sleeping when it happened.
So, how does
None
this
of them survived.
explain the time loop?
They never caught the guy who did it. Rumor has it that when they tried to contact the estranged son, no one could find him. Anyway, my boss called and told me this, and I freaked out, and he asked me to come to the gas station. So, what are you, crazy? I said, but he assured me that the cops were there with him. And then he dropped a bomb. The FBI were also in town, and they were going to talk to me one way or another, so I might as well come in. So it was about 7:15, and I wanted to go back to bed, so I figured I wouldn't be able to sleep much more anyway. So I went down. 4 men in suits greeted me, told me to have a seat. We went over everything 2 or 3 times until they got all the details down. I told them about Jeremy, the security tapes last night at work, everything.
So the FBI definitely knows that this is legit. They got a whole section in the FBI called the X-Files who investigate paranormal things. I know that because I saw it on TV.
And finally, after finishing, one of the agents says, "Oh, Christ, we've got another one on our hands." Then they made me sign a bunch of papers saying I wouldn't tell anybody about what happened.
Another what?
So I can't say much more. I might be breaking the law just by posting this. So I'm home now. I'm not sure what to do with myself. The agent's words when I told him the story are going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Anyway, I've got to go. I've got some errands to run today, and then I have to go into work to pick up some tapes. My boss and I think this new guy, Jeremy, he's a complete creep. He's stealing motor oil, and I have to watch the security footage to see if I can catch him doing it. I have better things to do, but my boss is paying me overtime under the table, and I'm trying to save up for vacation, so I could really use the money. It should be pretty simple. Oil always goes missing right after his shifts. I figure I'll just watch the tapes, catch him in the act, and that'll be that.
Did we just loop again? Wait, this whole video was a loop? So the whole video that we just watched was already a loop, and he was looping within the loop. Oh my god, guys, put it in my veins. This story combines so many things that I love in like horror stories and like movies. It has a time loop. It has a lot of unexplained things that you're gonna have to figure out yourself. The only thing I kind of didn't like was how at the end the FBI came in and they were like, "Oh no, we got another one." Like they're implying stuff, but it's really not saying anything. You guys know what I mean? I would have liked it more if they kept it even more mysterious. Like we don't even know whether the FBI knows more. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more mystery. But other than that, this was really good, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it as well, because if y'all do, I'm gonna have to react to more of these videos. In the meantime, y'all make sure you check out the creator down below in the comments section, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.